Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to another uxwbill video from the department of There's Nothing So Permanent as a Temporary Fix here at Walsh Motors. To fix Naughty Truck correctly with the whole broken blend door mess would involve taking the entire dash out of it, which is a monumental undertaking. I've been told it's like a 12-hour job by the book and that there really aren't too many shortcuts along the way. Basically, according to the one mechanic that I spoke to who even seemed remotely willing to do the work, I was looking at a $2,000 expenditure, which is definitely more than I can spare right now. Probably more than I'd get even if I tried passing the hat on YouTube. I could palm it off on the keykeeper, but he's a very busy guy, and you can see that generated a very pleased expression from him. And I, of course, don't really want to do it and happen to be busy with my own things in life. Now, another acceptable solution, of course, would be, again, to get a Ford. Because that one's basically 30 years old and hasn't ever had this problem. Not that it couldn't. I mean, it's just a matter of luck and all. But what we have here, yes, that's my, the doctor will see you now for your examination screwdriver.
Performing lobotomies in the
Something like that. Anyway, what we have here is a simple valve, courtesy of Amazon, from some anonymous random Chinese source and seller, which probably means it's really, really good stuff and it would never leak in a million years, that allows you to bypass the heater core in the summer, and then when you want heat again in the winter, or if you have an unseasonably cool day, you turn it over to winter and things are allowed to flow. So in the summer position, there's flow between here and here, and flow between here and here, but it doesn't really matter because these two are going to go to the heater core. When we turn to the winter position, there's flow between here, through here, and out there, and then back this way and out that way. Now the in and out here, I could have them reversed. I don't know for sure which one of these is the supply versus the return for the heater core. I do, however, know that doing this with a sheet metal snips is probably grossly inappropriate, and that this spill tray I've got here is likely not to work at all because it's pinched in there and it's got kind of a lip here at the end, but I'm at least going to try because coolant is attractive to animals because it tastes sweet to them, and if they drink it, they will unfortunately die what I believe is a very painful death. So we want to try to prevent that from happening. I don't imagine this is going to go well, but we're certainly going to find out right here on camera as the mosquitoes continue to devour both the keykeeper and myself. I don't know that we're going to get this done. Well, we certainly got something done. Death cool everywhere. And yes, this thing is still running death cool. I've changed it every 100,000 miles except for the 200,000 mile mark when the connections to the heater core sprang a leak and pretty much changed the coolant for me. Okay, so there's the first one. And unfortunately, we did get a little on the ground. I'm going to give this to the keykeeper, and he can probably do a better job than I'm doing.
Say that on YouTube.
Well, you can, but we'll have to put a language warning on the video.
Not doing that if it ain't ending up on the floor.
That's the story of my life right there.
Why is it sticky?
All right. Wonder how much air we're going to have to burp out of the cooling system after this.
So, this one will go here.
Yeah, you could just put that one on there. Hopefully it'll fit.
It'll fit.
That'd be a smart thing to do. Get the wrong size for this thing, although I think heater hose sizes are pretty standard. And then expertly disable your vehicle because you just blithely assumed that something would work. You know what you're doing wrong, though? You didn't put the hose clamp on there. Screwed again.
It's open.
Oh,
See?
silly me.
Who's the professional mechanic here?
Not me, obviously. Not me, obviously. I should have known. I should have just left it in the hands of the master. Okay, well, we're not going to bore you with wheedling all of these hoses on here, so we'll be back in a couple moments thanks to the magic of video editing. And this was about the last time anyone ever saw the keykeeper again. So any other time that I happen to want Vaseline, there would be no less than 3 million canisters of it sitting around in varying degrees of decrepitude. But of course we don't have that today, so I went and got the medicated chest rub out of desperation, just to make this go a little easier. Same base. It's petroleum jelly, just with ingredients mixed in that'll prevent a stuffy radiator.
Petroleum jelly, huh?
Yep.
The coolant cap.
Yep. This is something else that I would appreciate an explanation of, either from my star mechanic here, who's going to watch me spill this all over the ground and poison all the wildlife for the next 3 counties anyway, despite the fact that I really did try. What is it with the disappearance of pressure caps on the radiator?
It's cheaper to put them somewhere else or a different design.
Because that is something I have never understood. Now, if I thought about it, I probably would understand it. But I have wondered how, if you drain the coolant out of one of these things and you go to refill it, it must pull out of this tank somehow. Well, yeah, there's a hose on the bottom of this tank. Well, there we go. I think I answered my own question.
Amazing.
Yeah, I must be coming across as a real rocket scientist on this video. But if it was automotive electrical, no problem. That's my favorite thing to do. But this other stuff I'm not nearly so good at. For those of you in the viewing audience who may also not be quite so good at it, never, ever, ever open an automotive cooling system that is even remotely hot, because they build up pressure. Now, we're also going to temporarily turn this to winter, and I think I will go ahead and leave this cap off to try and burp out any moisture that might be in the system. I never realized that there was a hose on the bottom of that tank. Yeah, I know. I must sound incredibly stupid right now. But it won't be the first time. I'm quite good at it, you know. I am, after all, the guy who is wrong on the internet. Turn the headlights off. There's no reason for those to be on. And I'm also a little bored. I'm more than a little bored with this stupid airbag warning message. I can't get the parts. Needs a front left crash sensor. But nobody's got one. They all say they're back ordered, and they have been for years, which makes me think they're probably not manufactured anymore. Anyway, we'll let this thing warm up a little bit, then I'll put the cap on. Already seeing some smoke, so you know that's a good sign. Plus, hopefully, with any luck, we'll have a rub out somewhere. There's a little bit of heat coming up in that thing. And it's getting warmer by the second, too. One thing that I have definitely noticed about automotive engine coolant, of all the different colors and types that I've seen, which is certainly far from all of them, is that when it gets hot because you spilled it on an exhaust manifold or something else that gets warm enough to start burning it off, it actually starts to smell kind of like celery. I don't like celery. I get it in between my teeth, and my teeth are so close together that I'd like to never ever get it out of there again. I'm sure you all want to know that. I can just hardly wait to delete the comments that I get about what the keykeeper just did with that watering can. So things definitely seem to be going well. There's no runs, no drips, no leaks. We're definitely not overheating, which is a good sign. And if we turn our attention over here to these two vents, the one that's in the middle of the dash is served by the broken blend door. And we're presently getting about 40-degree air out of that. And then this one over here, which is served by the still functional passenger side blend door, is reading slightly warmer at 43 degrees or thereabouts, 42 or 43. It's kind of floating around a little bit. Now, of course, one does have to consider that no two thermometers are going to be calibrated or behave exactly identically, at least not at the price ranges that I tend to shop in. But the good news is the heater core shutoff valve appears to be a really good temporary fix for this problem. which is good because a little bit later this week, we are going to have some very hot temperatures, going to be up in the 90s Fahrenheit-wise. So, as always, thank you for watching, and certainly do feel free to leave a constructive comment if you happen to have one.